Good morning, Steve.
Good morning, Dan.
How are you?
I'm good. I'm doing very good.
All right. I think we're pulling this off. We took a little week off last week. The holidays kind of messed everything up, but no big deal. I didn't have anything to talk to you about anyway.
No, nothing.
Probably. I'm just trying to.
All the D&D news.
Well, yeah, there's a lot of D&D news now, especially after the PAX. Did you see the little 50 years of D&D thing?
No, I haven't watched it yet. Was it? What was your takeaway?
A lot of fun stuff coming out that they showed. You know, I think the Wizards of the Coast and Dungeons and Dragons are being very careful not to step on the toes of the previous edition.
Sure.
It sounds all good to me. I guess it's coming out in May of next year. The Player's Handbook, or all three core rule books, I believe.
That's great.
But yeah, it was mostly they just talked about different kinds of adventures and throughout the years of 50 years. And then like the last 10, 15 minutes were a preview of what's coming up in 2024. So when you watch it, you can just skip to that.
That's great. But Dan, before we get too far into it, who the hell are you?
Who the hell am I? I am figuring that out every day. I'm still in search of a therapist. If anybody has any good recommendations to help me find my path. Anyway, I am Dan Taylor. I am a creator of D&D and tabletop role-playing game content, etc., as well as being a so-called, and I'm going to use air quote, professional dungeon master. For Catacombs and Comedians, a live Dungeons and Dragons actual play show we do performed at comedy clubs. And I got some more news to share with you about Catacombs today. Nothing major, just let's see, and produce that show. And I guess that is who the hell I am. Who the hell are you, Steve?
And you also have a placeholder for folks who are checking in early in this episode or watching the replay. You have a placeholder right now for your next one of your upcoming RPG projects.
Yes, 4d20system.com will take you to the placeholder for the next year's crowdfunding to be launched on January, February, March, April. I always forget what month the fourth month is. April 20th of next year. The High Fantasy, the 4d20 system RPG that I'm plugging away on.
That's fantastic. And the hell I am Steve Conley. I write and draw the webcomic The Middle Age, which you can read at middleagecomic.com. It's a fantasy webcomic, silly. I also make RPG stuff like Intoximancy, Death Dealing, and the upcoming meta domain, the Prayer's Handbook, which you can find out more about at prayershandbook.com. Currently 265 lovely people have queued up to be reminded when it goes live, which will go live Wednesday. I wanted to launch last week, but the holidays messed everything up. I had friends in from out of town. I can talk a little bit about that. The main high point being that we got to play Dark Tower, which I know is a thing that you remember fondly, I bet, from the 80s.
I do.
That's who the hell I am. But Dan, you were saying got some news about Catacombs and Comedians.
I've spent most of the last 2 weeks trying to put all my ducks or comedians in a row, so to speak, as well as creators, because I'm pretty much I have to cast 3 shows right now. I've got the Catacombs and Comedians show at Helium Comedy Club, July 29th, 2024, the night before Gen Con officially opens. And Helium is the comedy club just down the street, so it's going to be this is kind of a major big deal for me, I think, having Catacombs Comedians not at Gen Con but Gen Con adjacent. And who knows, maybe we'll end up at Gen Con. But anyway, I got that show cast. I've got my 4 comics for that show at Helium Comedy Club. They all know how to play Dungeons and Dragons.
Nice.
Yeah. I went on a stretch here. Went, what the hell? Let's find comics that know how to play D&D. So 3 local Indianapolis comedians and one of my guys from my Huntsville show is coming up.
A ringer.
That's yes. And then, in addition to that, January, we will hopefully see the launch of the regular Catacombs and Comedians Podventure Cast series. And this will feature 4 stand-up comics doing Catacombs and Comedians, but on a regular basis, a regular podcast. And again, we're not doing a live streaming show with this because that's just a lot of things to juggle when you're trying to dungeon master.
Sure.
And run everything. So podcast is easier. I do theater of the mind, basically Dungeons and Dragons anyway. It's easier for people to access if it's a podcast. Down the line, we will definitely, explore avenues to do more streaming of these shows. But I got that cast with my 4 comedians, and then I'm working on. Looks like maybe again the Nashville shows will maybe resume in April or March or April or May. Not tie into anything launching on 5/20, but so I'm working on getting the comics set up for that. Got some of the comics ready for that, and then I'm still working on getting my creators for Catacombs and Creators at GaryCon next March, and I've got Matt Forbeck is confirmed again.
Fantastic.
Joining me again, and then I got Levi Combs will be playing.
Hot damn.
I've talked to a couple of other comps, some scheduled conflicts, still working it out, but we'll see how it goes. There may be someone from not you, because you're not going to be there.
Sad to say.
But Tommy might be playing again.
Awesome.
I think he's my backup right now in case I can't get, Todd Stashwick and Ed Greenwood to play.
Backup? Tommy's great. Tommy's a force. That's awesome.
No, he is. I did. Apparently this weekend he's at PAX.
Uh-huh.
He drove from wherever he is in Canada to Philadelphia to do PAX. And then there's a convention going on in Columbus, Ohio this weekend too. So he's leaving the PAX convention, flying to Columbus to do that convention, and then flying back to Philadelphia to drive back up to.
That's excellent.
Yeah. So yeah, Tommy is a force of nature as far as anything, in the.
How many states will you be in this weekend? How many countries and states will you be in this weekend?
Yeah, no, well, state of depression, so no, so yeah, so again, I'm, what's been fun is I'm really starting to feel like a part of this community with creators, and a lot of it is because of our experience at Gamehole Con, I believe.
That's great. That's great. That makes a lot of sense. I mean, it feels like the early days of comic conventions where you could actually meet people and network in some way. And I think this is an interesting space in that back in the comic book days, there was Marvel and DC and a handful of other publishers, and everyone was fighting to draw Batman or whatever the heck it was. There was a coveted number of very limited seats, and everyone wanted first chair. It was a lot of fighting. And then the direct market, I mean, we came in just after the Turtles and all that stuff. So there was a kind of a hope there was a hopeful underground, but the underground was this scrappy place that was set apart from, there was D&D, D&D. There was DC and Marvel, and then there was us indie guys because we're pre-Image, I think.
About Image, yeah.
So it was we were off on the outskirts, and unlike that, there's no membrane like that separating the third party people. I think it was, who's it, Sly Flourish, who doesn't care for that term, the indie creators versus Hasbro. Like there isn't that kind. It's very permeable that if there is a membrane at all. So it's like you have people like who are podcasters, who are working for Wizards, who are working for Ghostfire Games and bouncing around. They're producing the game for the Dungeon Dudes, and who are all part of being distributed by World of Game Design. It's like very small community and very welcoming, I found.
Yeah. So now I gotta mind my P's and Q's and.
Why start now?
Yeah, I got a brand, don't I? So fuck it all, right?
No, I mean, I've urged you to be more politic, Dan. Come on, man, come on. So this was a fun week for me. I took advantage of a Black Friday sale, a Cyber Monday, empty your wallet Wednesday, whatever it was, and got a 3D printer finally.
Yay! I've had mine for a year and still have not turned it on.
And you have a better one than me. You have a better printer than me, and it is in a cocoon in your garage. It will come out of that chrysalis at some point. You're going to print all these beautiful minis, and it'll be fantastic. But I did get one after 2 years of sculpting, so I can actually print stuff. It's, again, the quality's not as good as the stuff you can make, but still, given that, I'm in a house with cats and I don't want fumes, or an apartment with cats, and I don't want any poisonous chemicals and stuff like that. I don't have a garage, so I can't really do the good resin stuff. But for FDM, it's pretty amazing.
No, that's cool.
So I'm pretty excited.
And it gives you just an opportunity to sculpt something, see how it turns out, and then go, oh, let's go back and resculpt this.
And other little things too, like as people do conventions, and I have these table displays. Now I can design my own custom table displays. Like, so I can have minis that are set up. I can determine the color of the platform that I display the minis on, and set up a rail inside it for lights and things like that. It's going to give me the ability not just to choose something off the shelf or commission someone to make something very expensive, but now I can just kind of go into Shaper 3D or one of these other Fusion 360 and just, here's my table display now, and just print it out. So I'm pretty excited. I'm very excited. So
have you done the house yet?
No, that's this weekend. I was waiting on the filament, which just was 8:30 this morning, was delivered to a neighbor, so I had to go down the street to get it. I like when Amazon sends you that picture of the thing and it shows you someone else's doorstep, and you're like, oh. And I'm like, I'm going down the neighborhood. Okay, whose Christmas wreath is this?
Yep, I've done that. And like I've done where I've gone, I've walked out of my house, turned left, went all the way down the street. Nope. Oh, it was the one I should have turned right. It was right next door. But
and then you got to approach their doorstep like a porch pirate, hoping that they don't sick the hounds on you.
Oh, and then I get a text from them. Hello, neighbors. There's something you needed?
Right.
Yeah, no, I was just getting my package off your shelf.
Yeah. I basically leave that apartment, the apartment down this way with the package, and I'm like basically showing my Amazon phone to anyone who's interested. I'm not a criminal. Not in this domain anyway.
Well, you got to give. The delivery guys are overworked this month. So
oh yeah, absolutely. I kept choosing all that take your time Amazon options. Like it's got to arrive before Christmas. If it gets here in December, that's great. But certain things like my filament I need now.
Yeah.
Also, it's a very loud printer, so I don't want to have it running it overnight and scaring cats and stuff like that. Everything in my life is built around appeasing the cats.
I hear that. Like 2 dogs and 2 cats.
So we had a bunch of D&D news this week. One of the weirdest, before we get into some of the stuff that came out of PAX, one of the most interesting things is this trend of people just slagging the D&D Adventures channel on Amazon Prime, and what is it? What's there? It's not Freevee. Is it Freevee?
Yeah, Freevee. Well, no, yeah, maybe I think something. Yeah,
whatever was IMDb TV before they merged it into something else, but it's really funny that for some reason there's just they're piling on it. It's been out since the beginning of October, maybe. Was it or beginning of November?
Maybe November. Yeah,
and man, people are beating up on it. I'm like, it's not ideal, but it's not hurting anybody.
I mean, I have yet to watch any of it just because of times.
Yeah, it's a terrible delivery system. The idea that it's like a train you have to catch. Like, why would you set anything up like that?
And then I guess you can watch it on demand, but I haven't,
Can you?
Yeah, it's through Plex or something. I'm not sure.
Great.
It's more things you got to sign up for and jump through hoops to get to.
That's always good. That always brings in new people. You want to have as many hoops and sign up forms and email confirmations and terms of service and approvals and.
But I mean, A, they haven't offered me my own show yet, so
what?
Yeah, and so B, I just haven't had the time because, like I said, I've been busy casting 4 other shows right now.
So once it's cast, though, you might get the call. Well, I don't know. Maybe you avoided some friendly fire, by not having a show on there right now.
Hey, bad press is good. There's no such thing as bad press. Trust me.
I hope the D&D Adventures channel feels that way, because that's all they're getting.
Oh, I haven't done a dive into it. I haven't,
It's harmless. The content's fine. It's just a terrible delivery system. If any of this stuff was a YouTube channel, it would do great because people could just binge it. They could watch what they want to watch when they want to watch it. But as it stands right now, you're just sitting there. You come in 10 minutes too late. You can't walk into an adventure 10 minutes too late without a summary of where you are and what's happening. That's no way to,
Yeah, I'm the time of, and they're not even live, are they? They're recorded.
oh yeah, oh, it's all recorded. Yeah, yeah.
So I mean, when you and I were kids growing up, we had, you watched this show at this time, or you missed it until the summer reruns.
Right.
But we don't live in that time anymore. You should watch it on your schedule when you have the time, when you can do it. And so hopefully they figure that out. And but I mean, honestly, I don't think I'm going to jump on the cooking show and watch the cooking show. I'm not a fan of cooking shows. I got nothing against cooking shows, but just because you slap D&D on it, it's not going to turn me into a cooking show fan.
Here's my suggestion. That what it needs is a game element to it. My first thought was you make it so that the contestants or the people on it have to prepare that poisonous fish. And if they fail, they have to make a death save. Otherwise it's a TPK. That's just one suggestion. Maybe they have to go that might save that for like sweeps week or the season finale. But if it had some sort of contest element, some sort of game element, that would make it way more interesting. Right now, it's like a fat cooking segment that you'd see on Colbert. It's banter for like an hour. I'm like, no. We need a TLDR version of it. The cooking segments on like Colbert are like 5 minutes long, or like a morning show are like 5 minutes. Here's the 5 things you need. You put in for an hour. Here's a picture of the.
Here's what it looks at stage 1, stage 2, and stage 3.
Yeah. And then all done. And this is like an hour. I'm like, it's an ad for a book.
Live and learn.
Yeah.
So this holiday seasons, I got this ready. Here are my.
Oh, that's beautiful.
My happy holidays from Catacombs Comedians cards going out. That's why I asked for your address again.
Oh, that's what that was. That's fantastic.
Yeah. So I'll be sending those out to various Dungeons and Dragons and role-playing game
movers and shakers,
Illuminati, stuff like that, people like that, convention organizers, Wizards of the Coast staff,
their families.
So I got those ready to go. Now I just got to find the time to sit down. Maybe I'll sit down and watch the Dungeons and Dragons Adventure Channel while I address envelopes.
It's again, not terrible. I like catching some of the old animated episodes, but anything that is a live, the actual play without any kind of bearing, like if you don't, when we read comic books at 22 pages, and each one has a sense of every issue is somebody's first. And that's such an important thing when doing comic books, that every issue potentially somebody's first. That they really need that. Like every commercial break, you come back, you're going to have new people. Unless people are going to start appointment television again, which I just don't think they're going to. I don't see us saying, oh God, I got to be back by 8:00 to watch my stories.
Yeah. No, and there's I guess that fine, because I've really enjoyed. I don't know if you've been watching the Acquisitions Inc. season 2.
I have,
and so the finale is at the PAX, a live show today at 3:00 your time, I think.
Awesome.
So I'm looking forward to watching that today.
You're gonna watch it. You're gonna do the appointment television. You're gonna watch it live.
No, actually, I've got errands to run at that time, so I'm gonna have to watch
even
it.
Something you look forward to. You're like, no, I'll binge it later. It's convenient. Yeah.
No, I mean, I think that's maybe why I haven't watched the Dungeons and Dragons Adventure channels, because I'm used to, I watch it when I get to it.
Yeah. So like 10:30 at night, the family's asleep,
Yeah. Or 5:00 in the morning when the dogs woke me up and the family's asleep. I watch TV when my family's asleep.
Right. And you have it on the background while you're writing or, scheming, coming up with your
plotting my, next 14 unfinished projects.
Yet unfinished.
It's on sabbatical.
Brewing. They're brewing. They're simmering.
Lots of simmering. So you're about ready to launch yours, right?
Mm-hmm. I have so much to do. Like the page was approved a while ago. I have to create all new graphics for the campaign page. That'll be a lot of tomorrow. I'm creating 2 new pieces of artwork today. I've finished sculpting a creature over the last 7 weeks of my Twitch stream, and it's I don't know. A lot of pressure. Hopefully people like it. I think it's not going to be as complicated. I've added a couple little extra bonus things that might give people, I don't know, that people might tickle some people, but by and large, it's going to be the books, the PDF, the zine, and the hardcover, just to match the same style as my previous projects. If I can get if I can sculpt a dice box book before the end of the campaign, that might be a stretch goal. Like if we hit some crazy number, then I will make that an add-on, a very expensive add-on for anybody who wants anything that dumb. So, but other than that, it should be very simple.
No, I your creature that you've been working on turned out great, by the way.
Well, thank you.
I was planning on using something with a similar, the exact name for maybe the GaryCon show. So I may just steal yours and use that for GaryCon.
You can steal my stuff?
Yeah. Well, and then say you can get your own when you go to prayershandbook.com.
I love it. I will send you the models, and the thing I'm working on today is a T-shirt for that, featuring that character, because I think people will want that. I think it's
definitely.
Oh, good. Little market research right here this morning.
Yeah, because I mean, obviously it'll fit well. Because I was planning, Hall of the whatever. I'm not going to spoil it now, but and I figured that would be a fun, very meta thing, so to speak, to be GaryCon.
Right.
And so yeah, send me the stat block on it if you have that.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's and the thing is, I know you, and of course you're the house rules. House rule it up so it's better for a crowd. I'm very much thinking about it in terms of there's a few abilities it has. One is like it's very much right now. It could change, of course, between the time now and then it gets printed. Was the Beholder has various rays that it fires and it negates things. Very similar. I felt like this creature needs that sort of thing. Like you don't know the rules until you face the Grognard, and the idea being that it announces something like no magic, and for the next until its next turn, magic within a radius is not going to work. Figure something else out. I don't know if that's too complicated, probably for a live setting. So you play with it how you want to play with it.
Oh yeah, I'll essentially what I'll do is I'll just make it better.
Of course, yeah. You're going to improve it. You're going to add the Dan Taylor special sauce.
Exactly.
Illegal in 30 states.
Which is all right. We're running out of time. Okay, you kill it next. And, Here come the zombie unicorns.
Oh, awesome, man. I'll absolutely send you the artwork too, and anything else you need. And I'll print one out for you, or you'll have your own printer and it'll be even better.
Yeah, that'll force me to finally run my printer. And then the U.S. So we're talking 50 years of Dungeons and Dragons begins. In 30 days.
Wow.
And the U.S. postage stamp. You saw that story, right? They're going to have Dungeons and Dragons stamps.
Yeah, that's all. That's all I'm going to use for the. There were dragon stamps 3 years ago when I bought them, and it's my selective dragon stamps for that. So the D&D stamps, absolutely.
I used those dragon stamps specifically for a project I was trying to do that was very fantasy oriented. Yeah,
the D&D stamps are gorgeous. They're gorgeous. It features all classic artwork, or mostly classic artwork. The Elmore red box.
Yep,
dragons, one of them. They did a fine job of, cropping them into that unusual shape, the very vertical shape. It's not like the whole cover. They definitely cropped each image. They look great. I'm really excited. I didn't see a release date for it. All I saw was the press release that said coming next year.
And then they had a release date of some stamps, but a list, and I think it only went up till February. So
right, and these will be forever stamps. So there are things that people can pick up and have.
Yeah, I'm gonna buy them all.
Excellent.
Buy them all. Wish they had them for my sending out these cards, but
Sure. I think you and I are both going to send and receive a lot of those this coming year. It's excellent.
But
there was other news about I saw someone asked Chris Pine about, hey, what about a sequel? And he was like, yeah, hinting that it might be in the works, that a sequel.
I think it was maybe hinting that it's not out of the realm of possibility.
Are people rounding up? Are people like hope just so excited and hopeful?
Because I mean, it's doing great numbers streaming.
Yeah. Whenever I go into Paramount Plus, again, it's a small pool, but it's like always number 1 or 2, and it's highly recommended. Often on Apple TV, you'll say, "Here are our top movies," and it keeps showing up. Very curious that it's had such a nice long life.
But we'll see, because they're gotta give us some details on the TV show coming up pretty soon.
Is there a D&D cinematic universe? Is the TV show, do you know if it's supposed to be tied into the movie?
I have no idea.
Can we have
But why not? Why not?
right, presumably they're all taking place in the same cities.
Yeah.
Unless the city is the hero, or unless the NPCs are all the same, like that. What's the name of that large dragon?
Oh, Thumberchad.
Yeah, that maybe that appears in. I mean, I don't know. It's all very weird. So
which I happen to have gotten the Thumberchad Christmas tree ornament.
Oh right, I saw that Hallmark did those. Right, that was the only D&D one, right?
Yeah, I think so. They had a big one and a small one. Of course, I got them both.
Of course you did.
I'm me.
Were there any other Black Friday sales or things like that you picked up that were nerd, pop culture, D&D themed?
I got a Funko Pop
of
what's his name, Eddie from Stranger Things, sitting at the D&D table playing. So it's him as a dungeon master, the DM screen and the books and all that sort of stuff.
Love it.
So I figure I might take that, get a custom pop of myself, swap heads, and make my own Dan the Dungeon Master Funko Pop.
That's excellent. That's excellent. But we'll see. Why? That's priority. That's absolutely mission number 1 now.
Okay. Well, we'll move that shift this burner to that, to this. But yeah, I mean, and after talking to you 2 weeks ago, and I could tell your disappointment, dissatisfaction with me when I told you I was using a random generator map.
No.
So I went out and I found this thing called Dungeon Scrawl.
Sure.
And now I'm using that now, designing my own maps, utilizing that. So that's turning out nice. I've got a couple ideas. I've got the Quest zine that I'm making the maps for now for that.
The more of you that's on the page, the better. That's what it comes down to. The less, I understand, like there's some like hiring another artist, or like sometimes I bring in Marty Bowman to do an illustration, and bring in another artist to do an illustration. But the more of an actual person, like the covers you purchased, that's absolutely perfect, because someone's toiled over that, and you can tell. The other
so I can make a more specific story, and I can, rather than, because I mean, I was kind of doing this exercise myself. It's okay, what can I do with this
right
map? But now I'm like, okay, now how can I design a map to fit my story that I want? So
beautiful. That's awesome.
So I'm doing. I thought I'd have some things to show you, but they're not quite ready yet.
Yeah, and I wish I had any of the new Kickstarter ready to show anybody, but it's going to be a frantic couple of days.
And that's going to go Wednesday.
Wednesday.
What time?
Probably noon East Coast time. Again, it's a more modest campaign than the others, because I feel like it's so weird. It's such a weird thing that it's such an inside baseball thing in a lot of ways. It's the first one of the, like, anybody who's just playing D&D for the first time could pick up an Intoximancer and just go. It's just silly. This one is not that. This is like, advanced Dungeons and Dragons, you might say.
Okay.
Any other news from PAX Unplugged?
Not that I've caught on. I mean, this is it's been going on since yesterday, I think. Friday, today's Saturday, so there'll probably be more news leaking out today. But yeah, I mean, I've had my head down, nose to the grindstone, working on the boring stuff for Catacombs of Comedians.
So mostly working on the scheduling part of it.
Yeah.
Gotcha. So the how as bad is your FOMO right now, not being at PAX Unplugged? Your fear of missing out, how is that right now?
Like I've been too busy to realize it, to be honest.
Okay.
I mean, there was that moment Thursday where I'm like, well, Southwest has a sale. I can fly to Philadelphia real quick,
Right.
But there's too much. That's too much going on with the holidays, and trying to round up my talent because we're going to have our first virtual meeting with the podcast team next week to start laying that because I want that show to launch early January.
That's great.
And that will feature Logan Teichman. I want to make sure I got the pronunciation right. Logan Teichman, who played in my first when I tried to do the actual play video. He was one of the players on that.
Awesome.
So I brought him back. Elliot White, who's from my Huntsville crew, and Brent Reed, who's from my Huntsville crew, but has since moved to Austin, Texas. And then one of the comics from the Helium show in Indianapolis is going to be part of it. So I'm spreading the wealth, trying to get the different players. Catacombs of Comedians in 2024, we'll see more new comic. I'm bringing in new comics, more or less than using the ones I've used previously, just to mix it up, shape it up,
Right. I got to think it's someone who just have the technical ability to stream or to be recorded properly, because it's such a hassle with with people who are basically, they're not streamers primarily.
Yeah.
So that they,
so they've got their MacBook balanced on their on their old encyclopedia collection on their bed where their dog's jumping, and they're backlit by that ceiling fan, and
right.
you hear sirens behind it. I'm like, you knew we were going on. Can you not just?
It did feel like some of them were being filmed by like a security camera.
Yeah. And it hurts the show, and you don't want to, see, make the comics feel worse than they, you don't want to berate them for not, for having only a cracked iPad to do it on.
Right. But nowadays you've got Acquisitions Inc. and you've got Critical Role, and they have like incredible production values. And
and everybody can, and if you're going to do an actual play broadcast, you're going to be compared to the big guys. There's no way around it. Like, when Catacombs Comedians first came out, we were called the Wish.com version of Critical Role, which I didn't hate. We're still being compared to Critical Role.
Well, the idea that, I still think that there could be a dumpster fire behind a person, but if the audio is fine, people be okay with it. Like they could be sirens going by, but as long as you don't hear them on the audio, as long as there's a filter of some kind, that's one reason why I don't have 3D printing going on right now, because I just didn't want to have that ka-chunk in the background while we're talking. I feel like that's such a big deal for so much of this. Like, if you're going to have that stuff, it's kind of like, why bother? Because no one's going to suffer through it.
Right, and audio is so much easier. It's so much easier to clean up than video necessarily. So I could just do a quick, and it's all all the episodes aren't going to be more than an hour and a half long, because that's another thing I think might be hurting in Counterparty or whatever on that Dungeon Dragons channel is it's a 3 hour. Not only do you have to commit to a time, you got to commit to a 3 hour block.
Oh my goodness, I didn't realize that.
Yeah, I think they're 3 hour long episodes. So
yeah, not good.
Yeah.
You got to go to the bathroom and you miss an important part of the show.
Yeah, I want to be the podcast, the D&D podcast that you can listen to on your commute to work, or school.
That's great. A lot of people edit their stuff down. I like what the Ghostfire Gaming does that with the Eldritch Lorecast. They do a live Twitch stream, and I think it might be run in 90 minutes, 2 hours, and they cut it down. They trim out all the ums and uhs. And same thing with Sly Flourish. He cuts out all the extra bits and just boils it down. What he puts on YouTube is much shorter than what he has on Twitch.
Mm-hmm.
And same thing goes for the World of Game Design guys. They have their Twitch thing, and they actually have like 20 minutes of, okay, what's everyone watching on TV, and let's get the chit chat out of the way, and then at some point they go, and now we're going to begin the podcast, and they start off, hello and welcome everybody. It's a clear demarcation of the stuff, and that's the part they put on, which again I think Troy edits down, but still, that's so smart. If you have the skills, are you comfortable doing audio editing? Do you like doing that?
I do the basic, cheat easy things. It's pretty easy. It's pretty easy with software nowadays to record. All you got to do is make sure everybody's recorded as different on a different channel, and that's pretty. It's not, it's not for the layman's ear, it's fine. I don't, I'm not gonna, it's not gonna be stereophonic. Ooh, blah blah blah. Dolby.
It's like I'm in your second bedroom.
Yeah.
Is there so how do you record it so that everyone's on a set? This is a technical chat, but no one's watching. We can just go and technical. So how do you get everybody on separate channels? Is that built into the software?
Yeah, there's a software that I've used before that did it. I gotta get it again, see how it works. But yeah, that's part of getting it all, getting my shit together and ready, for this podcast. I figure if I focus on just the audio and as opposed to audio and video, the audio will turn out that much better.
That's great.
And then it's like what you said about editing down the video. I mean, that's what I do with this. The Mazes and Muses on YouTube. I cut you out, and it's just me.
That's good.
Yeah,
that's a good idea. That explains our numbers.
Saying all the smart stuff.
That explains our explosive numbers.
Hey, I'll have you know, 14 people watched the last episode 2 weeks ago.
Really? On YouTube?
On Twitch.
On Twitch?
Video on demand on Twitch.
That's amazing. I thought I only remember watching it 10 times. I didn't know I watched it 14 times.
YouTube, I have no idea how many people are watching it on the YouTubes.
This is must watch viewing for a lot of people, and I appreciate our many audience member who
we've had 3 views on YouTube last.
We're percolating. That's what happened. That's what this is. Almost everything, all these startups, it's like there's a slow simmer, and then boom, they just explode.
Exactly.
It's the hockey stick.
We're the simmer. I don't know. It's just great content is why we have such great numbers.
Oh yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing because you can't find 2 pasty dudes talking D&D.
Old white guys. Yeah.
Internet. This is rarefied air we're in here. This is
and just stroking each other's creative egos.
It's mostly just like keeping us from, like, I don't know, staring into the middle distance for an hour while we sip our coffee in the morning.
No, again, our weekly morning chats is very inspirational for me, and if that's all that comes of it, that's all I need out of it. So
yeah, it's fun. It's fun. And so what's on the plate for this week? What are you doing? What are you trying to tackle this week?
I got to get the podcast figured out. More or less get it all figured out. Because I'm meeting with my team this week. I'm working on getting the 0 level meeting because I want the Patreon to launch in January. Everything's launching in January. So I figure I'll just use December because all my Christmas shopping for my wife is done, for my kids mostly done, and I'm pretty much done Christmas shopping, so I don't have to worry about it. I just have to, instead of Elf on the Shelf, we do Grogu with a View. So I just got to remember to hide the Grogu in a different spot every night, and that's pretty much all I got to do for the holidays. That's cute. Yeah.
Is the you didn't want to get that? I saw that the WizKids has that 3 foot tall foam kobold. I saw it at Gamehole Con. They have a red one and a blue one, and normally they're $600. They were down to like $430 on Amazon. You don't need to have one right next to you on the.
Someday I will share my cramped office, and the crowded wall behind me is just a sliver of my decor all over the place. I am running out of room quickly, and I asked my wife for a batleth for Christmas, so I don't know where.
Did you really?
Yeah.
That's amazing.
He's like, "What do you want for Christmas?" Like, I don't know. I don't.
Give me a batleth. That's spectacular. That's great. So is this basically your office is your creative space is mostly a desk and a computer, and that's basically you do all your work on that thing, or do you have is there other spaces where you need to work when you're?
No, this is it. My desk right here. My desk is this ancient, like, madman era desk. It's like from the 50s, and it's solid wood. It's heavy as hell. It's got a glass top on the wood. I mean, it's classic, and It's kind of beat up a little bit. It looks like it's but I mean it's a solid. It's a beautiful. It's like a kind of desk that Ray Bradbury would have.
Nice.
I mean, it is. I love this desk. I've had it for 20 years now, and it was given to me by the stepfather of an ex-girlfriend 10 years after we were together. 15 years after he was like, I think Dan would like this desk, and he tracked me down, and I did, and I've moved it out from California. So I got my desk, I got my 3 monitors, I've got a messy, cluttered desk, and then I've got just all those book cubes, those shelf cube units.
Sure.
Kind of like what you have behind you. I got those all over, about waist high, all the way around my room, filled with D&D books.
Wow.
And
there was a meme. There was an image going around of Jack Kirby at his art table this week.
I saw that, yeah.
Where it's just him, and it's like there's like a brick wall, maybe a fireplace. He's got I think the only equipment in view is like a wooden table and a cigar. That was like that was the only.
Yeah, he had his draft table and like a little nightstand filled with inks.
And they're like, anything more than this is a waste of blah blah blah. And then I immediately think of Ray Bradbury. I think of Harlan Ellison. And they're, lavish. They're working in a room full of fun things. I think anybody who feels like it's one way or the other is completely wrong. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, when you are working, I mean, when I'm working, I tend to feel like everything else falls away. Whether there's a million things in the room or nothing in the room, it's just me and whatever I'm working on. So the idea that these things form distractions is kind of silly. Absolutely, this is just a curated backdrop. It's it's part of it is knowing that I'm going to be broadcasting or talking with clients. Fortunately, my work is such where I can talk with clients and have all this goofy shit behind me, and people are like, "Oh, that makes sense."
Yeah,
no,
that's why I've got this little shelf behind me where I haven't changed it out for a while, and I got to do that. But
what is that D&D one? It's very small. What is that?
It's an action figure.
Huh. What is an action figure of?
Of that warrior guy.
There's a front view of him?
Yeah.
That's amazing. The picture there's all red? Is he all red in the box, or will we never know? You're going to keep it in the box sealed forever.
I have no idea.
It's such a cool box.
It's probably all red. Yeah, for the first time ever, roleplay as the formidable fighter from the 1983 red box with this 3 3/4 inch scale figure from Super 7 Reaction Line.
They are producing so much stuff. I know they did all the Critical Role figures. They're like just tons and tons of figures. They had like the Ifrit and the all the different demons and stuff. That's another, boy, if there's one that I would get, there is that classic Fiend Folio Ifriti.
Right over there.
The 12-inch tall statue with the
no, I've got the little 7 or the little 3 3/4 inch
reaction one.
Yeah, I've got 3 of them over there. It's got the Ifrit, it's got the Fiend Folio guy, and then the sorcerer chick.
That's awesome.
And then I've got, of course, they did Jaws. I've got those over there. They've got Quint, Chief Brody, and Hooper. And then over here, I've got Beastie Boys from the Sabotage video.
Yeah, we definitely need a tour of your office at
someday. I've got 4 Lucha Libre masks over here.
That's amazing.
This poster you can't see. This big one is a huge Santos Lucha Libre zombies poster, and then all my D&D stuff. And then I've got some portraits of JD and Turk from Scrubs.
That's great. When you do fulfillment, like when you're shipping stuff out, is it all at that desk, or do you have a separate place for that?
I haven't done fulfillment since I've been in my office here, so we're going to find out.
Oh wow, okay,
yeah,
that's fun. Yeah, this whole other side of this room is all shelving units. There might be a photograph on the Discord where I got the new printer, and it's on one of the desks, and you can just see behind it. It's just shelves and then closets full of boxes. And it's like, okay, each one's labeled like, here are the death dealing minis, here are the Intoximancer minis.
That's way too organized for me.
anything less, and I don't know how I'd get anything out the door. That's
But yeah, like across from me is my whole shrine to Jaws. So
yeah, I didn't know you were that into it until you were saying that about Quint and all that.
oh, dude, I've got the Jaws movie poster. I got the artwork. I've got all the Funkos. I've got action figures from NECA. I've got the license plate from Louisiana. I've got a replica Chief Brody badge.
So you're into all these things equally, would you say? Is there a I mean, you're getting a bat, if you're getting a batleth for Christmas, I'm not, is Star Trek the most important one to you? I know I see Star Wars behind you. Is it all like that's just the stuff you swim in and it's like it's all great.
It's all great. It's all, yeah. I mean, my favorite movie of all time is Jaws, so I collect Jaws stuff. My favorite TV show of all time is Scrubs, so I've got a few Scrubs things. But I've been a Star Trek fan since the age of 5 and a Star Wars fan since the age of 9. And then I got my football,
right?
Titans. Yeah, I'm a collector.
How much of that finds its way into your work? I know you're a big fan of D&D. Is it like, has there been like you never wanted to do like a medical comedy role playing game or a I don't know, what would you describe Jaws as? Coastal terror?
Well, I do have a concept based on the movie Jaws, featuring a dragon and 3 hunters that go out to get him. So for D&D,
as an adventure, as a book, or as a novella,
yes,
as all those things.
Yes. Why limit yourself to just one thing?
No.
So yeah, I got this idea about it. I mean, it's just a complete ripoff, more from the movie than the book Jaws. And I want it to be about 3 adventurers who have to go get the shark that's been terrorizing the kingdom. I mean, yeah, it's an age-old story about going to go get the shark. I mean, go to get the dragon that's terrorizing the kingdom. But now I'm just going to take the aspect of Jaws, and those 3. There's the gruff dragon hunter. There's the book learned wizard. There's the I just wanted to be a retired ranger and look after this little village. I'm sorry. The title I have for it is a complete ripoff. I'm not going to share it right now. So
fair enough. That's great. Was there any other media you've seen recently that you were inspired you or made you go, oh, that's awesome? I recently saw the Dial of Destiny. I just finally saw the latest Indiana Jones. I thought that was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was fun. But I've got all my Indiana Jones and a Dial of Destiny Indiana Jones figure over here.
There we go. Okay. All right.
Someday I think that might be the lineup on my shelf behind me next, is because I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 Indiana Jones figures over there, all from the different movies and different times of his life. So
that's excellent.
I got a problem, Steve.
Do you? I don't know. They're making a lot of those figures. You're not alone. It's not like if they were, hey, okay, we got to hand make this one for Dan. It would be like you have a problem, but they're making.
And then it's been my
100,000 of these.
It's been my habit in my life that 4 years down the line, I'm like, all right, these are just taking too much room. It's time to put them up on eBay for another collector.
Is that what you do?
Yeah, and I generally, and I don't try to get a profit or I'm like, all right, because then there was back in the days when I was poor, unemployed, and stuff like that. I mean, I sold a lot of stuff just to pay rent.
Sure, I've been there. Like, love this comic, but got to get rid of it if I'm going to make this bill. Yeah.
I mean, I had like Don Figueroa original Transformer covers that I've had to sell just because I got to pay rent.
Yeah, that's funny.
But hopefully those days are behind me and it's all good now. It's all gravy.
But you have a toy store you can open anytime if you need to.
Oh, I've got at least 3 months rent that I could sell.
Yeah. But I feel like it would be like that Good Omens where Aziraphale's shop where He's got a bookshop, but please don't sell anything. I don't want to. He has it, but doesn't want to part with anything.
Oh, and then the RPG books are. I don't even know where to begin. I'll buy books just to buy books and not even crack them ever, with the full intention of cracking them and reading them, or stealing something out. That's basically why I buy any D&D or role playing game book, is just so I could steal something from it.
It is interesting that I wonder how many people. I mean, part of it is a collector thing. Like I feel like you've gotten everything WotC's done with 5th edition, right? You have every book that's come out.
I've got every book. I don't have every campaign figures and all that stuff. But
the books would be like a thing where if they put out a new book, you have to have it. It has.
Yeah, I'll get it.
Yeah, that's such a thing. I was talking with somebody else about that recently, about how that collector mentality of like the whole idea of having 9 of the 10 books, not having that 10th one would be like this. It's just this itch. It's just this. It's not. Why even bother?
And it's honestly like the last couple Christmases. I mean, I may not have gone out and bought everyone myself, but it's great for when the wife goes, look, I need a Christmas list from you to give to my mom. I'll go, here are 3 D&D books I don't have. She can get at Amazon.
That's awesome.
Get those,
That's perfect.
And does she know? She buys me a stupid jacket from Costco. I love you, mother-in-law, if you happen to be watching.
Did you get you a D&D jacket from Costco?
No, I'm just saying a stupid jacket,
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah. Ooh, it's going to get down to 40 degrees 2 days in Tennessee. You better get this jacket.
Yeah, I have a few missing pieces for some of my collections that I need. Like I just not need, but that's it. That's the word, need. Oh, I need it. Like no, I don't need it. But there's like 1 or 2 volumes that are like I've got 6 of the 7, and I just need the 7th one. So it's totally unimportant. I don't know why these things matter so much to us. That all that collector mentality stuff.
But yeah.
What's your in your current eye line? There's a fire. You got to get one thing out of that office. What is it?
My dog.
That's nice.
I don't know. It could be my Maltese Falcon statue. Let's see.
Hero Happy Hour cover.
Oh yeah, that's the original Scott Morse cover. That might be it. Yeah, I've got the map from Time Bandits hanging on my wall.
Really?
Yeah.
We need a tour. We need a tour for sure.
Yeah, someday I'll just. I mean, I got to get it organized. I mean, because I want to do my shelf porn just to show off all the books that I have, and it's. I mean, I haven't yet to organize our Game Hole Con stuff, or even the Gen Con books. They're just stuck in cubby holes right now, not without their spines even showing. I'll get to it when I get to it.
A stack of stuff. There's a David Peterson has on his Twitch stream you get as you watch things on Twitch, you get points that accumulate, and you can spend them on things. And one of the ones he has is like a shelf discovery, or find something off a shelf or something like that. You could do that endlessly.
Oh yeah.
If you set that up, be like, because you could just reach over and say, okay, here's my copy of, Monster Manual 2, and
yeah, here's my copy of Steve Conley's deck of stuff. My glowing giant D20.
That's awesome.
And the Jiminy the Cricket Lego that my daughter made for me, because Jiminy the Cricket's my favorite favorite Disney character.
Really?
Yeah.
That's
the only Jiminy Cricket I have in my office. I have no other, but now I'm going to have to start collecting Jiminy Cricket stuff.
That's amazing. Why Jiminy Cricket?
I have no clue. Maybe it's because I need a conscience.
That's I know that was Harlan Ellison's favorite character too.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
It also may be because he sings "When You Wish Upon a Star," and that was the music they used in Close Encounters.
Oh, okay.
I don't know.
Maybe. But I think we could absolutely every week start off with, okay, what new swag did you get? What new bit of loot did you pick up? Oh, I actually did get something that was D&D related. That was a Black Friday thing. It was just the Critical Role, a Critical Role action figure.
I hear they're going to finally do the Mighty Nine on Amazon, a cartoon.
Yeah, they are. They are.
That's my favorite Critical Role campaign.
Really, that's excellent.
Yeah. So
that's
I'm
my favorite too.
to
The first series felt like a lot of this classic wish fulfillment of every character. I'm going to be the cool rogue. I'm going to be the cool this. I'm going to be the cool that. And like I felt like season 2 was a real rejection of that. We're going to be like the they had done the cool, and they had to go in the opposite direction. So instead of being like Vax and being all badass, suddenly he's like Caleb Widogast, who's all demure and unsure of himself and troubled. Everyone had, it's all and their troubled backstory. Every person had and their troubled backstory. But I felt it made for a much more interesting season with way more curious lines and wonderful reveals. The whole Not the Brave character and their reveal, fantastic. Season 3 feels like, okay, they've gotten those out of their system and now they can just do whatever they want. And that's kind of fun too. Like they've done the cool stuff. They've done the almost counter cool stuff. And now it's like, all right, you have an audience. You can do whatever you want. What do you want to do? And season 3 is like really cool. But I like the characters in season 2 a lot. They're a lot more fun and a lot more memorable in a lot of ways. Yasha and Bo, and yeah, good stuff.
So yeah, I guess that's God, we've been chatting for an hour already.
Oh my goodness. So I'm going to get back to work on illustrations, and I'll share them over on Discord, and I'll share them with you, and we'll launch on Wednesday and see how it goes.
Are you going to do a launch party live?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll do a stream, and we'll see how it goes. Again, it's going to be a weird. It's an odd project. Death Dealing felt like Intoximancy was weird and quirky and all me. Death Dealing was like, okay, this is kind of more cool D&D type stuff, an Eddie Munson type character, something he would want to play. And now this is just like pure weird. So I have no idea how people will react to it. So I'm really curious.
I'm looking forward to this. Might be the one I'm looking forward to the most.
Really? Well, I think it's so inside baseball, and that's where you live.
Yeah.
So, well, fingers crossed that it does well, and that
I'm sure it will.
That I can make people happy with it.
And I assume you'll meet your goal within 72 hours. Maybe
that'd be nice. It's again, I do modest goals, so hopefully in a few hours I can make it, because it'll be a small goal. I don't have grand ambitions. I'm still trying to hit singles before I hit a home run. I don't think I've got a home run in me just yet. I'm working on my power game.
I think Intoximancy was a solid double.
I'll take that. That. It's still selling. I sold more copies last night. It's like it's a perennial bestseller. I don't know what's going on.
And we'll leave on that wonderful note. Where do the people have to go again to get this?
So they go to steveconley.com, or they go to intoximancy.com or deathdealing.com. Or if you want to check out the next one, that's placeholder page right now, if you go to prayershandbook.com, and it'll launch on Wednesday.
And I've got a thing, 4d20system.com. Go sign up and get ready for the launch of that little intoxicating experiment. And catacombsandcomedians.com for more news and info on Catacombs and Comedians. And hopefully we'll see you. Hopefully we'll grow an audience here, and then we'll have more news for you next Sunday. Or we got shows or anything we got to go, or Saturday we got things.
No, I'll be here Saturday.
All right. We'll have more news and more good stuff for you next Saturday. Maybe some artwork to show off.
Thanks, Dan.
All right. Peace, everybody. You, especially you out there, Roger, you know what I'm talking about. You all make your saving throws.